Welcome back, and on this video we're going to be doing the chat or the review of The Shadow Rising, Robert Jordan, Book 4 of The Wheel of Time. And this one, clocking at almost 1,000 pages, was kind of a struggle to get through at times. It was a good book, just very hard to get through that many pages. I mean, it's not the longest book I've read, but it's the longest one I've read in a while. This video will have probably some spoilers, so if you haven't read this one yet, you might want to look at maybe viewing this video after. Also, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be starting a new series where I'm going to be doing some what I call unbaggings, where I basically go out thrift book shopping and buying stuff online and unbagging it so you can see kind of what I'm getting and what I got it for. So that's kind of cool. That's going to be coming as well. As always, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment down below what you think. So anyway, we're going to go into the Shadow Rising, and this, I mean, we don't really see Beelzemon in this book. This is more Rand, Moraine, Lan, and Egwene, basically with the Aiel, as they leave the Stone of Tyr, going to the Waste to call the clan chiefs, so Rand can declare himself as the chief of all clans, being the Dragon Reborn, which we found out in the last book once he had Kalendor. So that covers that part, and there's we learn a whole lot about the Aiel culture, and we learn their history. The Aiel consider themselves to be great warriors, though we find out when Rand goes through Ruidine that it wasn't always that way. That the Tinkers had the way of the leaf, and the Aiel sort of followed that, and that's why the Tuatha, the Tinkers, are considered the Lost Ones. This book has some what I would call hits and misses to it. The misses aren't necessarily bad things. They're just things that I know that when they come up, they're going to be trouble for the character or characters who are around them. So I'm going to get to the misses, and then do the hits. So for the misses, I would say the first one is the Children of the Light. I don't like them. They operate out of ignorance, really. I mean, their mission statement to make sure, to root out all dark friends and, make sure everybody's walking in the light, that's all well and good, but it's abused. They do whatever they can to root out dark friends. They're judge, jury, executioner, basically, but yet there is no jurisdiction. They answer to no king, no queen. They don't own any land. They don't rule any land. They basically just roam around from city to city, village to village. And the children give Perrin a real hard time in this one, as Perrin goes back to the Two Rivers and Eamon's field with Fail. And that's going to be one of the hits that we're going to come across. But, we can look at, I guess, the Children of the Light as being a version of the Inquisition, where, they have their questioners. So you have, the torture and the means of extracting a confession from people to either turn on somebody else or admitting that they're a dark friend when they might not be. So, there's that. The second miss, or the second ones that scare me, is the Cian Chan, because the whole Domini and the Adame, which, puts the collar around their neck, and they have somebody that holds the bracelet, and they basically control the Aes Sedai. And we come across a character, Aegeanin, or Aegeanin, I guess would be how it might be pronounced, who is basically trying to round up the Soldams that were basically controlling the Aes Sedais, the Dominees. And once she meets Nynaeve and Elaine in Tanchico, she kind of realizes that, hey, Aes Sedais aren't what they seem to be, and she starts to learn as much as she can about them. Now, we can still be a little suspicious of her, and this miss is going to kind of be part of the next miss. And what I was hoping we might have seen Robert Jordan do, or what he might still do down the line, who knows. The next miss is the Black Aja. Again, just there's always trouble when they're around. And I was thinking to myself when they went into the Panarch's palace in Tanchico, wouldn't this be the perfect time if you get one of them knocked out to put an Edame on them and make them a Dominee? That way you have a Black Aja, somebody who is really powerful. Now they're at your command, and you can use them then as a weapon. You don't have to channel. So, you could have, Nynaeve or Elaine. They don't have a channel. They force the Black Aja, the Black Sister, to channel. That, I think, would have been cool. And it still could happen. Maybe they might get Leandrin, and that's how they're able to get some of these Black Sisters back for justice, as Nynaeve would say, to stand trial and to receive justice. Now, I want to say that this is a hit. It was a surprise. Is what happens to Siuan Sanche, who is the Amyrlin seat. A group of sisters led by Elida, a Red, doesn't like the fact that Rand's walking around using the power and that the tower is doing nothing about it, that the Amyrlin has basically embraced this man. And the fact that her and Moiraine were friends growing up and they basically did everything together was always there in Elida's mind. So what happens, and again, this is a spoiler, so if you haven't read the book, don't finish watching the video until after you do. But the surprise to me was that they still the Amyrlin. Now, what happens when you get stilled? It means you no longer can channel the one source. You can kind of see it. You can try to reach out for it, but it's just not there. You can't grasp it. You can't touch it. So you can't channel. You're no longer an Aes Sedai. What makes you the Aes Sedai is the fact that you can channel the source, the one power, Sardan. And to be stilled, or on the male side, gentled, means you no longer can. You've been basically shut off from the one source, the one power. You no longer can wield it. So now we have to figure out what's going to happen, because Siuan is with Min and with the chronicler to the Amyrlin Sea, who's also been stilled. And they come across Logain, who was one of the false dragons from some of the earlier novels, who has been gentled. So Siuan does something interesting here. She says to Logain, you stick with me, and I'll make sure that you get your revenge on the Red Sisters, the ones that gentled you. How she's going to do that, I don't know. Because to take on the tower, you're going up against all these Aes Sedais. You can't channel, unless her plan seems to be to try to bring in the ones the Aes Sedais that fled, that didn't go along with this plan of overthrowing the Amyrlin seat, bringing them into her fold and taking on the tower that way. I don't know. But Min's vision from, I believe it was the beginning of the Dragon Reborn, comes into fruition here in this book, with the Aes Sedais that are dying, and seeing the warders dying. It all comes through there. Now, to me, I think the best part of this book is the relationship between Perrin and Thale, who Thale means falcon. And Min had a viewing of Perrin getting a falcon. Well, they grow as much of a pain in the butt as Thale can be, as both of them can be, actually. It's actually kind of comical the way that they get along, and the way that they sort of fall for each other. And it's really the first bit of romance and love that we see, besides what couldn't happen between Lan and Nynaeve. So, we see this relationship grow between Thale and Perrin while they're defending, Eamon's Field from Trollocs. And you got the White Cloaks there. And the White Cloaks want to, basically, they want to see Perrin hang. The leader there, Dane Bornhald, his father died, and he blames his father's death on Perrin, saying that, they're dark friends, and they used Aes Sedais as weapons, and, even though it was Sian Chan, Dane doesn't want to hear that. He just wants to see Perrin hang. But anyway, as they're going through all this, we find out that actually Thale is a noble. And Perrin obviously is just a blacksmith. And he's just like, well, why are you falling in love with a blacksmith? You can't take me home to your family, being the cousin to royalty, having a dad as a huge general. Even though Perrin himself is becoming a really strong general leading the Eamon's Field and the Two Rivers folk. Anyway, the beauty of this is the way that they fall for each other, and the marriage ceremony, the vows that they take. And it's going to be real interesting to see where Book 5 takes all of this. And that's what I'm going to be getting ready to start. And I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a long series. That the next book, The Fires of Heaven, is close to 1,000 pages as well. This one was close to 1,000 pages, but I'm looking forward to it. And then, obviously, again, remember, keep an eye open, because I'm going to be posting some unbagging videos. You can see some of the books that I'm adding to my library. So it's going to wrap it up for this video. 5 stars, by the way, on Goodreads. Some people might say, well, it's too long. Probably too, when it could have been told in a little bit shorter, probably. But it's very detailed, and I like detailed. I don't mind length, as long as, the length gives me something, and this one does. It's so 5 stars on Goodread. I give it a thumbs up. I like it a lot. It's one of, like I said, just for the Thale and Perrin story is makes it really worth the read. But yeah, 5 stars. As always, as I said, please subscribe, press the like button, turn on notifications so you know when the videos come across beyond, the book review and chats and the unbaggings, which will be coming, contests, all that good stuff. And, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're reading. Give me your Goodreads name, and, we can possibly connect and see what the others are reading. I'm always cool with that. So with that, it's going to wrap it up. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.